to make his decision.
Who isn't?
Obviously, right? But just like LeBron, he stayed, Mom. However, Kobe Bryant is not staying, Mom. He'd love for Carmelo to take his talents from coast to coast. Take a listen.
It'll be fun. It'll be more than fun. You know, we've really clicked since 2008, and I would love to see him out here.
Kobe and Carmelo played together during the Olympics. What could Melo do for the Lakers, Scoop?
Well, first he could do for Kobe, makes Kobe's life a lot easier when he comes back. You know, especially now, if Kobe comes back, he's the only thing they have going on in the Lakers. So defenses that he'll see, it'll be old school box, and there's nothing there. There's no other offense there besides Kobe Bryant. So hell, if I'm Kobe Bryant, I love Carmelo coming here because it takes pressure off him, and it will make his life a lot easier. But as I said in the green room or back then, Melo going to L.A. would be like, Gary Coleman saving NBC back in the day.
Because the world don't move to the beat of just one drum.
Exactly, folks. Carmelo Anthony going to L.A. would basically save that franchise and keep it relevant for not just the next 2 years while he and Kobe play together, but after that. Just seriously, Kobe, we all agree, Kobe probably has 2 solid, probable years left.
Not averaging 28, 29, right?
Being Kobe. After this contract is over, we think it's going to be gone. Imagine that team as is with no Kobe there. You talk about falling into an abyss, especially the way the Clippers are playing, and now they've become the quote-unquote sexy team in L.A. From a business standpoint, Carmelo there keeps that falling off from happening. They don't drop it. They're still a relevant team because he's still a superstar in the NBA, and the Lakers don't take that hit. That's beautiful for them. And, he's still something I think you can build on. I think, with a great coach there, or we'll find out how that happens, whoever that coach may be. We don't know why it's taking so long to get a coach.
You might be the next coach at this rate for the Lakers.
Right. And, we understand that this new regime of buses running the team is not like the old man bus running the squad, so there have been some changes there. But if a centerpiece is Carmelo and you have something to work with, then that's fine, because that's what is going to save this franchise. I think it's more important than just basketball with Carmelo Anthony, getting somebody like him there. 2 years with Kobe, that's great. You establish yourself, you stay on par with the Clippers, that's fine. Once Kobe leaves or plays another year and Carmelo's really that dude, you're still right in the conversation. You still get games on Sunday on ABC, so we still get to see the white uniforms. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Thank God for that.
But trust me, Kobe's not there and they don't have a Carmelo and he retires 2 years from now, we won't be seeing those white uniforms on ABC too often.
Since I'm sitting in Skip's chair, I'm going to do what he does. I hear what you're saying. You made some valid points. The Lakers were the most profitable franchise in the NBA last year. They made over $100 million. They clearly distanced themselves from the second-best team without Kobe Bryant playing on this basketball team. So from a business standpoint, they're always going to matter. From the other standpoint, to your point, as much as I want Carmelo Anthony to stay with the New York Knicks, I'm a New York Knicks fan. I think if he signs that max contract, I think he will show that he will trust Phil Jackson. And you don't want to be that mercenary guy running all over the place. You forced your way to the New York Knicks. You got to stay and make it work.
Exactly.
But if he doesn't want to do that and he goes to the Lakers, I still wonder if that guy is a guy that you can build around and make him the centerpiece star. I still have doubts about that in New York. But this is what he wanted, so he's going to have to find a way to make it work, especially with Phil Jackson and Derek Fisher taking over as general manager, president, and coach, respectively. But if you go to Los Angeles and it doesn't work, then you know what's going to happen. People are going to say, well, dude, you forced your way out of Denver. You went to New York. You didn't want to stick around to try to make it work in New York. So now you're going to go to L.A. and be the answer after Kobe. If you're going to be considered a superstar, superstars don't just jump around from team to team to team to team to team. They find a way to make it the best possible position. And believe me, with Carmelo Anthony, hasn't it been like speed dating? All right, Dallas, your 2 minutes are up. All right, Houston, your 2 minutes are up. All right, Chicago, your 2 minutes are up. And now the Lakers. If you're Carmelo Anthony, that may work in Los Angeles, being the guy after Kobe Bryant. But why would you not want to stay in New York and make that your basketball team? Because if you win a championship in New York, because believe me, the last time they won a championship, I think gas was free in this country back in 1973.
Right.
So if you're going to do that, if you're going to go to Los Angeles, you better make 100% sure it's going to work whether Kobe Bryant is there or not. Because if you don't, Kobe's not going to have the finger pointed at him, Carmelo. It's going to be you.
I agree with you 200%. That's over. I agree with you 200%. I agree with you, but in the context of what we're talking about, him going to the Lakers, how will it benefit the Lakers?
I don't think it would benefit the Lakers at all, because I still wonder if Carmelo Anthony is that guy that other guys want to come play with, even with the Los Angeles Lakers. To your point with the Clippers, plenty of guys still want to line up and play with Chris Paul, with Blake Griffin, be coached by Doc Rivers. The Lakers are still in turmoil because, A, they still don't have a coach. B, we don't know what Jim Buss is going to do. C, we don't know what this team is going to look like if Mitch Kupchak will be allowed to put the team together and have Jim Buss sign off on it. I still want if free agents look at Carmelo Anthony and say, he's playing in Los Angeles. That's where I want to go. I still want if guys want to do that, even though he's a prolific scorer. They don't mind having him come to their team. Like Chicago said, yeah, that's the piece we're missing. Carmelo Anthony, no question about it. No one has basically said, if Carmelo Anthony's the main guy, I can go there. I still want the players want to do that.
I think it depends on who's coaching there to make that decision. I think players can, if he stays there, if
then that has to be a caveat.
Right, exactly. That's what I think needs to be done, because whoever is coaching that team, especially with Kobe there and Carmelo there, that's what's going to get those players to come and say, you know what, I can go on there and I can make it happen. But I hear you, Freddie. I hear you, but I still think that for the Lakers, it's a big deal to have. They need somebody. They need somebody. That's what I'm getting at.
Losing Jody Meeks can only take you so far.
That's right.
Swaggy P, not a star? Come on. Nick Young hates
his girl Iggy Azalea is more of a star than Swaggy P.
But she's big because she's, I don't know the name of that song I was going to quote it.
Don't try it.
Anyway.
Nice try, though.
If Carmelo does join Kobe in L.A., what are the expectations for that team?
Oh, my goodness. They're going to be astronomical because you're not bringing Carmelo Anthony there to just be a 500 basketball team. If you're bringing Carmelo Anthony to your basketball team, whether Kobe Bryant is there or not, the expectation is going to be there that this is the next bridge to a championship in L.A. It shouldn't be that way, but
I don't think so. I think it's just sexy. I think it's sexy. I don't think that we think that they can compete for a championship yet. There's too many strong teams in the West, and one, we don't know who's going to be coaching that squad, and two, we found out it needs more than two in order to make it. So if they just have Carmelo and Kobe, we all know against Russell and Kevin Durant and Serge Ibaka, that's not going to be enough. We know against Tim and Kawhi Leonard and Tony, that's not going to be enough.
The Bruce Brothers with Gasol and Altadivo.
And the Clippers with all their, we know that's not, and in Houston.
Oh, yeah.
We can start throwing out teams from the West.
Right.
We can start throwing our teams from the West and understand just Kobe and Melo are not going to be enough. But it does make them sexy. It does get them into the playoffs, and they do get relevant, and they can build from there. So it depends on who that third party is and who's coaching. If they could bring another player in, like you give me a Kobe Bryant, a Carmelo Anthony.
And a Kevin Love.
Not even a Kevin Love had to be that strong. I'll take like a Chandler Parsons or some other player of that ilk, or a Luol Deng. Bring them in there and give me a hella coach, and now we're talking. But right now, just these two with no coach in place, it's just sexy.
Speaking of sexy, you put the quotes around the Clippers earlier as the sexy team. You can remove those quotes. The Clippers are the sexy team in Los Angeles, huh?
They are, despite Donald Sterling and his actions.
Exactly. They're fancy like Iggy Azalea. That's what I was trying to say. All right, guys, I'm leaving it alone. Thanks. Coming up, Johnny Manziel's summer has involved Justin Fields.